Alright. Am I here? Can you hear me? We good? I think we're good. Okay. Alright. Excellent. Thank you. Just before I start, firstly, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow Brilliant Bob, but I'll give it my best shot. Secondly, please feel free to use my large selection of Magoo-related FFC emotes. Okay. So I will count you down if we're all ready. Cool, thank you. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Anodyne 100%. The first thing we're going to do in Anodyne 100% is actually beat the game. So the first thing we do is go through this little tutorial area which teaches us about the action buttons, shows us how to advance text, how to interact with objects, tells us how to open our menu. We're going to talk to Sage here. And you can actually donate to see me fight him later if you'd like to. Although if you're lucky I might do it anyway. This is the first tutorial dungeon area of the game called Street. We are we're gonna do an entrance warp first, which one minute. We're gonna do an entrance warp first, which takes us a little further along. Then we're gonna get the broom. Then we're gonna entrance warp back to the start, so we don't have to kill the enemies to open the gate. And then we're gonna, of course, what you just see me do is wiggle out of bounds to clip through a solid tile. And that's very handy. That's the wiggle glitch. We're going to use that to sequence break the entire game and get through it really quickly. Talk to Mitra. We've got 3 steps to get off screen there before she tries to talk to us again. Skip the first dungeon. We'll be coming back here later. And then I'm going to cross through here, skip the first key gate, and end up in the main overworld area called the Fields. Panic basket. Everything good? Oh dear. What's going on? Oh, is it a mixer issue? Apparently I'm dropping a bunch of frames. I don't know why. Let me see what I can do. It's mixer. Okay. Alright. Alright, hopefully it will start being friendly again in a minute. Right. I'm gonna figure out what to do. Okay, good. I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't dropped frames like that before. Using pretty much exactly these settings. Everything looks good to me from here, and I'm watching it on the stream as well. And I'm sort of walking about fine. I'll keep an eye on it, and if something goes south again, I'll lower my bitrate. Anyway. Right, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I don't know if my internet went south for a minute. Let's keep going. Right, so we're in the fields now. We're gonna continue to wiggle back out of bounds, and we're gonna get one of the cards that we need to beat this game, and then also get 100% in this game. So we're gonna skip this sort of side quest to deal with that goldfish called Goldman. And instead we're just gonna go straight to Goldman's house, grab Goldman's card with his own self on it, and then fall down that hole to get back out of bounds. I was supposed to do a countdown. Bit late. One screen too early. I'm going to avoid going too close to Sage there because he'll talk to me and that wastes a few seconds if I'm not careful. We're going to do some more wiggling out of bounds. Oh, world record pace, absolutely. Now, you're gonna like this if you like the wiggling. We're entering a parallel universe. Parallel universes exist infinitely to the east and west of the main world, with one tile of vertical displacement per parallel universe. There are no objects in parallel universes, so I'm able to walk completely past the gates, past the boss fight that's meant to be here, go up the bridge, and walk around back into the main game universe and enter the final area of the game. This is Swap. It's very, very useful and will be the way we break the game from here on, essentially. You'll see it let me rearrange the tiles on the map after you beat the game, as I'm about to do, by wiggling again past the final boss fight. So I need to count, because it's 6 wiggles to clip into a tile. After we skip the final boss fight and we beat the game, we are able to unlock the swap and use it in every screen of the game, or almost every screen of the game. What this will allow us to do is completely break the game open. We will be detouring through most of the game world instead of going through in a sort of orderly fashion. 1 minute. There we go. So we're just going to walk around it in a way that's completely unlike a casual playthrough of the game. It's completely out of order. But first we get this nice screen with the ocean. We talk to this mysterious figure, who I won't tell you who it is yet. And then Sage says something to us. And now we get to sit through the credits. But that's okay, because if we hold one of our action buttons, the credits fast forward. I'm sorry about the frame drops. I'm not sure what happened. Right. We're gonna have a look at all of the enemies we didn't meet, all of the places we didn't go to. All of the bosses we didn't fight, which we will be fighting soon. Okay, I save here, and I've also saved at a checkpoint earlier, so I should respawn on that checkpoint. Excellent. So now I'm going to take a detour through this area called the woods to grab some cards, grab some health upgrades. And I now have the swap unlocked, so I can do this all completely out of order. And this will form the majority of the game-breaking stuff from now on. That's a health cicada. It flies up to the top of our screen, gives us a piece of health. Then I'm going to save and quit, and I will respawn back at the checkpoint. So I go and get some more stuff, and then I'm going to enter the first dungeon. I'm going to save here because I need to come back here later. Then I'm going to entrance warp from the back of the dungeon to the front of the dungeon. Grab a card. Swap through all of the puzzles. Swap through all of the gates so I don't have to kill anything. Swap through all the key doors so I don't have to get any keys. And now I'm out of bounds. And I'm going to walk through and enter the room with the first boss in it from the back. And just attack it. Sort of spam it until it starts to move. It moves in the same pattern every time, which is very handy. And then it explodes 4 times, and then it will give us a piece of health. And it takes half a second per piece of health it needs to fill up. That's fine. That's a standard health loss for this area. And then it will give us another piece, and then we can move again. Sage talks to us here. We're going to get the card with the boss on it. Swap past this thing, which is supposed to keep us from accessing the late game dungeons. Grab another card. Save and quit and respawn. And now we're going to go to the 4th area of the game. We start in a creepy suburb called Youngtown, where there are these black figures roaming around. And they do 6 damage to you. They're called killers. They're one of only 2 enemies in the game that do 6 points of damage. We're going to swap into the back garden of this house. I want you all to play this game casually, so I'm not going to tell you what you're supposed to do here to progress. But we're not going to do what we're supposed to do to progress. We're going to swap into the loading zone through the back of the house. And since all of the houses are on the same map, we're going to swap to a different loading zone that's further up and leave a house near the top of the map and then enter the 4th dungeon of the game, the apartment. I'm going to swap through every puzzle, every platforming section. Oh god. A little low down, that's fine. Swap across the water. I'll see if I can avoid taking damage here. I did. Excellent. That's very precise. Grab another card, an entrance warp. Go to a different floor of the apartment. Because they're all on the same map, much like the houses in Youngtown. Go to another floor by walking out of bounds. Then we're going to swap an out of bounds tile in place so we can get back in bounds. The default tile is a floor tile, and if you swap something out of bounds, that's what you get. So anyway, here's the 4th boss of the game, the Watcher. I've swapped a tile up there before beginning to attack it, so that I can just stand here and avoid its attack. Hopefully it will give us good RNG. It did not. It can do 3 sorts of attack. The fastest one is when it stays up there and just rains fireballs down. Unfortunately, it's decided to give us something else. Okay, there we go. It stood back up there again, so we're good. Get a bit of health. Return to using the swap. There's a lot of menuing in this run. We're going to get this boss's card, then warp to the entrance of the dungeon, walk outside, and then do the same thing as an entrance warp in the overworld that takes us to the Nexus, the hub world. Then we're going to do that again to go to the center of the Nexus, and then we're going to swap past the gate and go back to the fields through the portal we unlocked in the first bit. If you pick up dust in this game, you can ride on water with it, which is very useful because Young can't swim. We're going to swap through all of the rocks. Grab another card in this overworld section of the game. Walk across the water, and then we're going to grab some more cards. This card is guarded by an angry frog. Got to be careful swapping water tiles because animated tiles don't update their textures properly when you swap them. So if I'm not careful, I'll be picking up a wall tile when I think I'm picking up a floor tile. So there's a specific order of events here. This is the area called Windmill. There are 3 key doors here, 3 key gates, which are supposed to block you off from the 3 later dungeons of the game. But we've already been to one of the 3 later dungeons in the game, and we have the swap, so we can do whatever we want. This windmill is, according to the game's lore, one of the partner towers. The game's lore does mention a second one, but it's actually it doesn't exist. It's not in the game. So these statues move, and that's how you're intended to get to later areas of the game. But none of that matters to us. We've activated the windmill because otherwise... thank you. Otherwise we can't open that chest with the windmill card in it. Then we're going to walk past the loading zone that goes to Windmill, and we're going to walk 3 screens up. And this will take us to the forest. I'm going to be using some safety strats for the next few minutes because there are a few risks with out of bounds movement. Namely, the sequence of things you have to do to move out of bounds in this game can result in you getting stuck out of bounds if you're not careful, which means you have to either save and quit or warp somewhere else to free yourself. So I'm going to be saving just in case I mess up really bad. We're going to be doing some swapping out of bounds. That movement is called one train. Grab some more cards. Avoid some more stuff. Oh god. And now we talk to Mitra again, our friend on the bicycle, who is going to give us a pair of jump shoes, which naturally let us jump. And you can skip them, but it is faster not to. We're going to enter this dungeon from the back again. We're going to talk to Sage, grab another card, and this is the boss called the Wall. I forgot to do a safety save just before this boss. This boss can soft lock, although it's fairly rare, so if all goes well, we'll be alright. This boss has a few sorts of attack. None of them are particularly difficult to avoid. You just have to make sure you stab it when it's grinning. And it's not too much bother. Okay, please don't soft lock. It's soft locked. Okay. I love this game. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do that again. Oh god, I'm blocked by its hand. That's fine, it'll move its hand in a minute. Please move your hand. Thank you. Okay. Please don't die, because I've got to fight this boss twice now, and I might lose too much health. If I'm careful, I'll be alright. Oh, come on. Oh, no, 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 that's bad. That's very bad. Okay, I'll play it safe. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, lovely. Oh no. We good? Because for some reason you don't lose health in this version of the game. Okay. We good? Okay, we good. If that text box doesn't appear, you've soft locked and you need to start the fight again. What a lovely game. It's very nice to us in this marathon run. Okay. All is well. We're all back on track. Okay, so naturally the thing that rarely happens happened. Let's continue. We're going to kill this dog, unfortunately. I'll grab that bit of health. We're going to get our next broom upgrade called Extend. That's the wrong one. Extend sends harmful dust 1 tile in front of us, which increases our attack range. It's quite handy. We're going to jump backwards over that staircase, because that's a thing you can do for some reason, and it puts you out of bounds. It only works on both sides of that staircase. It's very strange, but that's called door hurdling. I'm going to walk to another level of this dungeon, do some more swapping, get another card, entrance warp, and leave. We're done here. That was intense. We're going to climb up the cliffs, which have beautiful music in them. We're going to get on this ladder from a side we're not supposed to. grab some more cards. And we're going to enter the next area, which is unlike anything else in the game. It's called space. It's very abstract. It's very strange. It's very artificial. And there are 2 cards in here, either side, so we're going to go and get them. There's nothing in here that can hurt us. Those are friendly things. They're happy. They like you. We're gonna walk back to the Nexus and then jump straight back into the portal to get to the middle of the area again. Gonna go and get the other card. There are characters you can meet in this area, and that's what the cards are. But we don't see them in this run. Now we're going to go to the next dungeon of the game, called the Hotel. This is the 6th and final dungeon in the game, casually, but that doesn't matter to us. This cityscape area counts as part of the dungeon, but the entrance is a bit further in, so we're going to entrance warp again to get further into the dungeon, like we did in the street. Do some jumping puzzles, swap past this gate, save here because we need to walk back later. Skip all of the puzzles again, get a card. Do some more out of bounds stuff. Now we're going to save warp. Back here. Go into the lift. Grab another card and do the same thing. This time we're going to go to floor 1. And this is where the boss lurks. Oh, Jesus. Okay. This boss is called the Manager. And it's weird, but hopefully I can get the consistent thing I found while derusting this game. Okay. I almost got it, but that's fine. We only lost 1 bit of health, so that's pretty good. The second phase of the boss, how far it goes up the world is RNG. Up the world, up the screen. Lost another bit of health trying to attack it. It shoots stuff that slows us down, which is very unhelpful. Alright. Gonna grab this boss's card and then save warp again. I have to be careful when I save warp because 1 option lower in the menu and I save and quit the game entirely. So that's quite important not to mess up. We're gonna walk back to the center of the Nexus again and go to Terminal where we met Sage earlier. And from here, we're gonna cross down 4 screens out of bounds to enter another overworld area called the Beach. Alright, make sure I cross onto that screen to unlock the portal there because we need that later. Grab the card of the fisherman. Who we haven't seen yet, but there is a fisherman in this game. Get through the gate from the wrong side. Grab this bit of health. No, wrong one. Jump back into the portal. There's the fisherman. What you're supposed to do in a casual playthrough is push him into the whirlpool so you can enter this area, but we can just swap past him because the loading zone's still there. So consider this a pacifist speedrun. This is called the Red Sea. It's a really weird area. But we're not going to be spending too much time in it. we're going to go to another area of this dungeon called the Red Cave first. And what that will allow us to do is to collect the Widen upgrade for our broom, which sends harmful dust one tile either side of us, which increases our attack range to the sides. It's completely useless in this run, but it's 100%, so we need to get it. Grab another card, skip the key doors. Jump over the enemy, and we're going to go into this weird room with a picture of the boss smoking a blunt. I don't understand why that's there. I'm not sure how accessible that's meant to be in a casual playthrough, but it's there and it's helpful. You can talk to this picture. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it says, especially since we're in Japanese, but it will talk to you. Here's the boss that we saw smoking a blunt just a minute ago. This is the rogue. While derusting for this game, I discovered that if you stand just to the right of the boss and up in this corner so you can attack it, it will never go into its second phase where it moves around the room and shoots waves into the water that knock you off your dust. And this saves a decent amount of time. So we just stand here and quick kill the boss. And then we're going to take its health cicada and head on to the final few areas of the game. Now we're entering this area called the 8-bit dungeon. Contrary to its name, it's not a dungeon. It's an overworld area. But it's unlike anything else in the game due to its theme. In the game's code, it's also known as cell or train. I didn't need to do that swap, but force a habit, I guess. I'm going to grab this health cicada, which also fits the 8-bit theme of this area. Then I'm going to save warp. Again, back to this checkpoint that I saved at. Swap out of bounds to this secret area, which is not supposed to be accessible during a casual playthrough of the game. And continue on to get our final overworld card of a chaser. I've got to go out of bounds. The chaser is only found in this area. It's that sort of pinkish purple zombie looking thing. That's the other thing in the game that does 6 pieces of damage to you. I cross 7 screens to the right. And once I do that, I can enter the loading zone for the 5th dungeon of the game and the final one of this run, the circus. This dungeon is the most RNG filled by a very long shot. Because of the enemies here, because of the bosses. The boss, you're supposed to be able to manipulate the RNG, but it's pretty precise to do that. And I'll talk more about that when I get to it. Alright, here are the RNG enemies. The direction they move is random, although they always move in diagonals. They're the clouds, then they explode in random directions. There's RNG from those lions, they can hit you, and that's very annoying. Come back, thank you. Oh, that was good. Unfortunately, the rest of the fight wasn't. I'll go and get that. Alright, now that we've dealt with all the clowns and we've got the lion card, we're now going to fight the final boss of the run, the servants. You can manipulate the RNG for this boss, and it's weird and annoying. Let's see if I get it. I did. Excellent. The RNG seed for this run is partially based off the month value of your system time. So currently, for me, on my computer, it's the 15th of July. because July, as I found, has been the easiest month I've found so far to manipulate the RNG of that boss and quick kill it in that way. Alright, timer's coming up very, very shortly when we collect the final card. I'm gonna swap through. There's the final card, and time. Alright. Not bad. If you'd like, firstly, actually, I'll check I've got everything. Good, 37 cards. All of my broom upgrades, all of my health upgrades. So, we're good. 100% of the main game items have been collected. I will do my donation incentives if you'd like me to. I'm prepared to do that, although I don't know if we raised any money for them. But while we're waiting on that, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. While we're waiting on confirmation for the donation incentives, the reason I haven't collected all of the cards in the game is that 11 of them are not accessible during a main game playthrough and are considered part of the post game instead. After the main storyline of this game, there is a whole lot more you can do. Some of that I might be showcasing in the secret showcase if I do it. Yeah, I'll show you about it. You want me to do it? Okay. Excellent. Okay. In that case, give me 1 second. Alright. The first one I'll do the boss fight incentive. Is that good? So this is the shorter of the incentives. Don't need to walk all the way. So we're going to fight Sage, and then we're going to fight Briar. Sage is telling us, like, you've got 36 cards. No, you're not. You're not ready. We don't have to actually sit through the card door thing because we have the swap. And here's Sage. And he says, like, you're not ready, you're going to hurt yourself, so I'm going to try and stop you. And this is an annoying fight. It's precise, it's not hard, it's just precise. There's the last hit. Okay, good. You can take a bunch of damage there and you're safe. And then he talks to you, and then this beautiful music comes on. And you can finally cross the bridge in the main universe. I'm going to save here to restore my health. Every time you save at a new checkpoint, it restores your health. Let's go up. Instead of doing the thing I'm supposed to do to unlock Briar, I'm going to go to this hidden area of the game called the second colour puzzle and do everything out of order because it's faster. Oh dear. You're meant to do a whole round trip and find a bunch of enemies here, but you know, that doesn't matter to any of us because we got the swap. Skip past the thing that's supposed to be blocking us from entering, because we're supposed to do this one first. Walk to the left of this button and Mitra comes and helps us. And this. Now the final fight is unlocked. I'm going to skip one last dialogue sequence. by going upwards here. So that figure we saw on the final screen of the game all that time ago, that was Briar. We're going to fight Briar now. This boss fight is actually, it's tough casually, but it's extremely simple. It's extremely simple to do once you know what to do. You can stand in this blind spot that avoids every attack of Briar's, and then you've got to... there are 3 phases from each side of Briar. There's a fire phase, and there's there's the fire side and there's the ice side. And it's RNG which one he gives you at each time. But it's fairly simple to deal with all of them. I need to put that one further over. And its attacks get progressively harder to dodge unless you know about the blind spot. Alright, that's the boss done. He talks to us again, and we go out and we do the same sequence that we did before. So that was Sage and Briar. Would you like me to do the secret showcase incentive? There are the credits again. That's their default scrolling speed. We'll just wait on the incentive and see what we want. Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes. I'm actually going to close the game for a minute and switch to a different file because need a bunch of stuff unlocked, but also the game stores your language on a save file. So I'm just going to switch save files to make sure that I'm definitely in English. Because, by the way, if you want to play this game casually, and I heavily recommend that you do, if you want to uncover all of this secret post-game stuff for yourself, stop watching now, because there are very, very heavy spoilers ahead for the post-game. But with that out of the way, let's continue. The first thing I'm going to show you is... Okay, I do have swap equipped, is pit skip, which is used in any percent to avoid going around the top of the fields out of bounds like we did at the beginning of 100%. Since you don't have to get a card in any percent, this is a bit faster than what you do. In any percent, you don't have to jump to get across here. You're supposed to, of course, need to jump to get around here, but if you mash up and down very, very quickly while walking across, you can get over the pits. And it's very, very difficult. It's very... you have to mash very, very quickly to do this. But, yeah, that's pit skip. Let's see what's next. Okay. Now I'm going to head back to the Nexus, and I'm going to go back into Street, and I'm going to showcase some of the cards that we didn't get before. So, one of the first, well, in fact, this is card 47 that we're about to get. If you swap out here and come behind to the start of Street, you'll actually notice there's a secret hidden area with a chest in it. And this is a card. This is card 47. It is the follower zombie ghost thing that you saw at the very beginning of the run earlier in this area. What we're going to do now is kill ourselves. Because there's something very interesting in the kill yourself and don't continue area. So we're just going to take a bunch of damage here. I've definitely got swap equipped, which is necessary. Alright, when you die, you get to choose between yes and no for continuing the game. And if you choose no, you end up in this house. And you'll notice that there is a chest here. If you die with swap enabled, you can actually get through and open the chest, and it's a card with young on it. That's card 37. Unfortunately, you can't pause after you die and you end up here. But there is another way to get here. But unfortunately, if you get here by dying, you can't save, so you can't collect that card officially. Alright, next we're going to head to the forest and show off something neat. I've got to go back up. None of this area you saw in the run. You saw this screen, but all of the lower part of the forest is completely useless. So I went right here in the 100% run through a wall, but there's this dead end here on the left. It's got one annoyer, it's got this fungus thing, some trees, some leaves, some bushes, some flowers. It's very uneventful. But there's actually a 1% chance that a secret character can appear here. Thankfully, we can force it to appear by entering the screen while holding Q, W, and E. So let's give that a try. This is the stag. It does nothing. It just sort of stands there looking proud, and it has its fur swaying in the wind a little bit. You cannot interact with it. It's not solid at all. It does absolutely nothing except stand there, but there are 3 places in the forest where there's a 1% chance that it will appear randomly, unless you force it to appear. Right. Next we're going to head back to the fields. We're going to swap out of bounds again to this area that is not on the map. We're going to go down 2 screens, and just above the area we were in before is this area, and it has this blue thing here, which you can talk to. This is a Chikapoo, an obvious little parody of Pokemon, and if you go here, you can pick up another secret item, which is a sprite of Missing Note. And it opens up this section of the menu with it opens up this new section of the menu, which is only post-game stuff. It has little collectibles in it, which are completely useless, but you can talk to them, and it gives you some advice on what to do if you encounter Missing Note in the original Gen 1 Pokemon games. If your graphics become scrambled, look at the Pokédex entry of an official Pokemon. Let's go and find another one of these secret items. To do that, we're going to go to the Red Sea. We need to go down here. No, left. Okay. Right, so this looks like there's nothing here, right? There are a few patches amongst the ferns or whatever they are. There's actually a secret path. You can go under the textures and through into this secret area. If you like The Binding of Isaac, you'll probably enjoy this place. You notice the music, some retextured enemies. These are annoyers. and it's a mini dungeon which you can go through to collect a secret item. These Isaacs here are retextured slimes. I'll grab the health from it as well. Thank you. For some reason you don't need to kill the retextured flowers here. We can go through and we can collect this little item at the end of the dungeon called the golden poo. Anyway, let's have a look at the golden poo. Ness, I have considered doing that, but it's somewhat impractical to do so, and the next thing I go to will show you why. If you talk to the golden poo, it says you're rolling in it. And this little dungeon ends here. It does count as part of the red cave, so if you enter a warp, you end up at the start of the red cave. Okay, for the next bit, we're going to go back to the forest. And we're going to head up. Oh, I've got the wrong one equipped. Oh. Okay. Weird. Right. We're going to swap to the right again and end up in this. This is actually a secret area, although it's on the map. You're supposed to not be able to get here until you have the swap, and you can't get here until you have the swap unless you activate a no-clip cheat. This rock blocks your path. But we can come past the rock with the swap. And there's this branching path up here, which is this completely hidden area. We've now come off the map. We're going to go to the end of the path, and we reach a dead end. But you'll notice this little bit that goes up. And thankfully, if we swap through here, we can get to a thing. Alright. If you wait for the bunny to cross to the other side of the screen, the two gates will open and you can collect a secret item, which looks like 3 green squares stacked on top of each other. Unfortunately, the bunny takes a very long time to get across. In fact, if you stand still completely and just wait, the bunny takes 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 20 seconds to make its way across the screen and open the gates. If you move at all, do any sort of movement except for jumping, the bunny will go backwards. If you pause, the bunny stops moving. If you tab out of the game and think maybe I'll do something else while I wait, the bunny stops moving because the game freezes when you're tabbed out. If you move, the bunny goes backwards. And if you keep moving, the bunny extends backwards infinitely off of the screen. It doesn't just sort of stop somewhere and say, okay, I'll start again when you stop moving. It will go backwards forever and infinitely extend how long you have to wait. So Ness, this is the reason why post-game 100% is an impractical category. I have considered trying it, but like there'd be this huge gap in the middle of it, and I'm not sure I really want to do that. Resident Speedy, I didn't count that. There is a Wikia page for this game which contains a lot of details about the game, and one of them is how long the bunny takes to cross the screen. Thankfully, I have not collected this secret myself, because to do so would be a waste of my time. And understandably, I'm not going to be collecting it now, because that would take up far too long in this secret showcase. Although maybe one day, you know, I'll speedrun it. I'll speedrun 100%. I'll just speedrun going straight to this secret and getting the item. Next, we're going to go back to the woods. And we're going to head across and we're going to go to the northwest. I need to go down here. Cross through this area. We came here very early on. Yeah, I guess, but then it wouldn't be a sort of 100% plus post-game 100% run Gecko. Although I could do a run that collects everything but that secret. There is a no-clip game. There is a no-clip cheat in this game, Speedy, but you can't no-clip through objects, so you still can't access the chest because the gates are there blocking your way. These trees have interesting. Some of them are partially objects, which means you can't swap through them properly. It's very strange. We're going to go to the secret off-map area again. And we find this ominous door. And if we talk to the rock, it tells us, "Welcome to Overworld Station. We hope you enjoyed your time in the land." The land is the entire game world. And Overworld Station is the place where you leave the land. Going through the portal in Overworld Station means you are no longer within the world of the game, within the dream world that Anodyne is set in. So let's do that. So these are the archives, if we've gone through the portal. We are now outside of the land. We are outside of the dream world within Young's subconscious that this game occupies. This whole map is called Draw. And one of the useful things about Draw is that if we activate our no-clip code and take our 2 health point punishment for cheating, if we go 1 to the right, 3 up, and then 1 to the right again, we end up back here, where we were when we died and chose not to continue. And you can't get it with no clip on, but if you come here, you can now pause and save, so it is possible to collect this card and actually have it saved properly to your inventory. Although if you go into the lower screen of the apartment, as soon as you go off screen, you will quit without saving to the title screen, so I'm not going to go there. There's this beach area, there's that archives area which is grayscale, there's the brown area of Draw. And then if we keep going, I think there's a card in there. If we keep going, we reach the turquoise area. And in the turquoise area are a bunch of portals. This portal especially is interesting, because if we go through it we end up here. And it looks like the Nexus, but as you can tell, it's not the Nexus. The swap doesn't work here. This is the second Nexus. It exists above the Nexus on the same map, and has a bunch of interesting things you can do here. Right. The first thing I'll show you is I'll go to the portal on the left. This is the debug world. It contains some debug stuff for the game that they use to test it, some test tile sets. You've stepped outside of the land, so consider this world 90% non-canon, as this rock tells you. There is actually a card in here, so to post-game 100% this game, you have to enter the debug world, which is outside of the game world, but also within the game world because it's in the game. It's very confusing and strange. What we're going to do now... Oh, that was interesting. We're going to head to the windmill area. I said earlier in the run that there is no second partner tower. That the game tells you about a second partner tower, but there isn't one in the game. Actually, that's a lie. There is one in the game. And if you swap to the right instead of the left at this area, you reach a secret pathway that takes you to it. the first part of the tower was destroyed and converted into a windmill before the events of the game, but this one is still standing. And the rock tells you that it has a dimensional rift at the top, and you have to be careful, and you have to have an open mind. So let's climb to the top. It takes a little while. And once we get to the top, we find that the dimensional rift is in fact the tutorial area, but also not the tutorial area, but it is the tutorial area. This map of the game is called Blank, and it does contain the 4 screens used in the tutorial. But this is a whole other section of the map which isn't in the tutorial. To post game 100%, you don't have to cheat. I'm just doing it because it's a little bit faster, and I'm slightly pressed for time. We're going to go through this portal, and we'll reach another area of Blank. We'll cross through, and again, in this strange area, there's another card, and this one's of your broom, of your weapon. And if you talk to it, you can talk to all of the cards. And it tells you, at least I'm not a stick. So, be grateful for what you have. Let this be a lesson to you. Our trusty broom has never failed us. I'm going to no-clip again. Just to get through there a bit quicker, and also to do something I need to do. Right. While I'm in no-clip, I'm going to press Q, and then I'm going to press R, and that will give me all 48 cards. Now that I've done that, I'll walk through this portal, making sure that no-clip is off, because if you walk through a portal while you're no-clipped, it will deactivate the screen transition, which is very important for wiggle glitching. We'll head through this area. Talk to this rock, and it says this broken sentence, which I don't know what it means exactly, to be honest. And here we reach the 47 card gate, which enables us to get the 48th card, which is in the debug world. Since we've already got all 48 cards, we can open the gate, because I cheated them into my inventory. And this takes us, although you can't tell, this is the turquoise area of Draw. It's just that when you enter it through the portal, it has this grayscale effect applied to it, just like Youngtown. I'm going to try and find my way around. Excellent. We're going to go back through this portal for our last bit, and then back up in the second nexus. This rock doesn't say much. What you notice is that there's a little island which you can't access. You can't swap to it because the swap doesn't work here. And there's a 49 card gate, which is weird because there are only 48 cards in the entire game. That being said, you can get to this island, and the way you can get to it is through the wiggle glitch. I may as well wiggle, it's fine. I think you enjoyed the wiggling, so I'll take the extra time. Through wiggling, this is the intended way to get to this island. You can actually get to it. And what's in the chest is not a secret item, but a card. And this card has no sprite allocated to it, so it ends up as just a completely red square. You'll see it's incremented my card counter to 49. But there's no space for it in the inventory. In fact, the card's existence is not tracked beyond the card counter. There is no record of card 49 existing in the game, past the card counter saying I have 49 cards. There's no other code for it. It's just there. But I suppose it's also not there because it doesn't exist. And yet it does. I'm going to wiggle back down. And now that I have 49 cards, even though I don't have 49 cards because there aren't 49 cards in the game, you'll think, can you get through that gate? Let's find out. Alright. So close, if only. Now that I have 49 cards, I can indeed open the gate. And the rock rewards us by saying that curiosity is a great thing. We go through this portal and we reach another area of blank, which contains a 50 card gate and a computer terminal. For some reason my card counter was incremented to 50 cards. That is a glitch. I don't know why that happens. There is no 50th card in the game, not even a fake card like card 49. But anyway, since the card counter says I have 49 cards, says I have 50 cards, let's try and open the 50 card gate. And it doesn't open, it remains closed. This gate will never open. There is no 50th card in the game. Even if you change your inventory or glitch your inventory to say that you have 50 cards, it won't open. Even if you hack the gate open, there's nothing behind it. Let's read the computer terminal. An email reads, "Hello Young, it seems that 50th card, maybe you shouldn't. Worth thinking about. Do you think you're ready? Wake up." So this is a message from an unknown figure to Young. And the 50 card gate has a lot of symbolic meaning in the world of Anodyne. According to one of the devs of this game, Sean Hantani Chen Hogan, the 50 card gate represents the end of Young's story within the game world. It's also been suggested to be symbolic of an impossible task, because no matter what you do, it will never open. Another meaning that's been ascribed to it, and one that I think is heavily implied through the computer terminal, is that when Young ever passes through the gate, he will be leaving the world of his subconscious that the game takes place in. He will be waking up. And I think it also suggests to the player that perhaps it's time to stop playing the game now. You've already put so much time into going through all of the different quests and going through all of the different post-game things and collecting everything. And you've reached this thing, and there's no point trying to do any more because you can't do it. So maybe it's time to wake up. Maybe it's time to close the game. And maybe it's time for Young to leave his dream. This has been the Anodyne Secret Showcase. I hope very much that you enjoyed it. I highly, highly recommend that you buy this game. And also buy the other game by the devs called Even the Ocean. They're both on Steam. They're both very, very good. If you want to speedrun this game, I recommend you buy the standalone version off of itch.io, because Steam Cloud messes with save states, save practice files for this game. So it's much easier to run on the standalone version than the Steam version. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my run. I hope you enjoyed my 2 showcases. And thank you very much for having me and having this wonderful game here.